Saw him practicing before the session started. He's brought over one of his mates, he looks about as young as he is, to help practice. 39, his highest rank at the moment. Youngest ever champion, started playing at 2. Both his parents represented China. He's born and brought up in Japan. Daz KARLSSON, different kettle of fish. Ranked his highest rank as well of 23. In fact, he's 6'2.5", same height as me. A bit more muscle, if we're being honest. Unusual style. Talking about this short pimple on the forehand. I know you'll be able to explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean it works really well for Mattias KARLSSON's game. The flat side coming from the forehand, and then his backhand really can spin that ball up well and hold well.
Oh, what a start. Hello, young man. Welcome to my game. Never look phaser, does he? Look at him. He also had a session, didn't he, with the team captain, Ji Liang, and also putting him through his paces.
Yeah, Harimoto's got a competition going on between himself and Bernadette Zox for who has the loudest shout out there when they win a point.
He may be 14, but it's certainly not as high pitched, these shocks. That's a bit of an ear splitter, that shout she's got. He'll go for the towel. Little check of the score. I always wonder about this at first one. You've really hardly broken sweat, have you? Talk about short and tall players. Of course, KARLSSON very tall. A lot of the best players aren't that tall. Is it a disadvantage? Oh yes, JJ, the captain's got his dancing shoes on. We like that very much.
Super backhand to backhand trade there. Back to your question before, Richard. I think when you're speaking about players that are a little bit taller, they're just a little bit more susceptible to injury throughout their career. That's really why some of these guys don't progress maybe as far as they could if they were a little bit smaller.
Spent a lot of time hunched over the table. And we were talking to Paul Drinkball about hips. The fact that you're always twisting the hips in unnatural positions. And he's had an operation to sort that out. Harimoto. He had a rude awakening to the start of this game, but he's certainly well back into it now.
5-7. Players, 5-7.
Great shot from KARLSSON. That's a little bit too good for the youngster.
It's a clever serve again. Really getting that ball to kick and jump off the playing surface. No holding back, is there?
Got that. That's a fist bump and a half.
9-6.
An apology for the net cord. Oh yes. Such flexibility, such a great backhand. Too quick. Oh, how about that for a response? Saves a game point. This has been an excellent first game of this match.
11-7.
It's for naught though, because nice and quickly Harimoto, who took a couple of points to get going, takes this first game.
I remember going out to Japan for a training camp, and they have a lot of players there at the university level that play with the short pimples, so I wonder if that's made a difference. Harimoto in the last 2 or 3 years has had the exposure to the short pimples.
Players, high.
It's quite a different style of game. If you're accustomed to playing against that,
Second game.
makes it
Harimoto to serve.
a lot easier.
Love all.
For the uninitiated, perhaps you can explain why he has such a short pimple, specific bat that he uses.
Yeah, a lot of the time for Swedish players, it's all about trying to win. You know, you can see that Karlsson's not the most flexible player, and his forehand technique wouldn't suit a normal rubber. So this has made him the player that he is.
1-2.
And limiting the amount of spin you put on the forehand, just sort of slapping it back a bit more.
That's it. He's got a very short technique, so that definitely suits the short pimple.
3-1.
But just couldn't do it enough. Harimoto ahead in his second. They're racing through these games.
Just able to nip that service right off the edge of the table there. Look at that. As soon as the ball bounced, right on the half volley.
3-all.
Look at the bat from Harimoto. Right into the body of that serve.
3-all.
Karlsson did well though, didn't he, to stay in the point?
Jack-in-box, isn't he? The Japanese player. Always throwing his little jacks into the mix. And as you say, Karlsson, that's not the most flexible around the court. Just has to try and battle his way back. Oh yes! Well, Karlsson almost lit up a cigar and had a puff, thinking he'd won that point. Goodness me, he absolutely leathered it at the Japanese youngster who give it back with interest. Just as well Karlsson won the next point, because that would have messed with your mind a bit.
That's crazy, the reaction speed of the young lad, Harimoto.
Let's.
Oh no, the other official
4-6.
has called it for not throwing up high enough.
5-6.
These balls are flying around. That hit me on the knee. At quite some speed it comes at you. Goodness only knows what it's supposed to be like to actually be a metre away from it. It's quite visceral when they get into battle. Just sit and watch in awe and amazement. We've got a good crowd in today who are really enjoying this. They enjoyed Dinning, but these two have given us some of the best entertainment of the day so far.
Players, high.
Karlsson needs to get a foothold here.
8-5.
That was an important point, really. Fascinating mix of spin duels and then the all out. That's better from KARLSSON. He's the one bouncing around with energy now. Good comeback. The wind is in his sails at the moment. I wonder if he'll see a timeout if HARIMOTO drops another point.
See, that's where it's different. He's spinning up with the short pimple, but there's actually no spin on it, and it's just confused HARIMOTO slightly.
Into the crowd, powered back out again. This is really nip and tuck. Stretch for it, couldn't get it. As far as HARIMOTO goes, it's a cursory use of the towel. He's really there to get some advice. KARLSSON has the advantage because he has the serve here. Gotta be careful with that serve, because he shields it and then he throws it backwards slightly. On 2 counts he could be in trouble, but so far so good, and he has a game point. No juice here, of course. Next point will take the game, and on such fine margins are points and prizes won. And that really was a fine margin, wasn't it? 1 apiece. Got lucky there, the Swede. Really gave it everything, didn't he? And that just about got it over the net.
That's an absolute corker. He's been practicing that one. That's what I need to do at 10-all.
Yeah. And of course, those sort of things you forget. It's if it's gone against you, you remember it and get really sore about it. Always remember our bad luck, not necessarily our good luck.
Well, this has turned it into a really fascinating tussle again. You felt there that the young Japanese player deserved a 2-set-to-love lead, but it's not materialised that way.
Perhaps experience over youthful exuberance. Just wonder what sort of player he'll be in 10 years' time. He'll only be 24. Again, we were talking about Hayata earlier on. Another youngster at 16, and this 14-year-old, they'll be in their prime come Tokyo 2020 and several Olympics further on. Something great and good from the IWTF here in the comfy seats. I got to sit in one in between the sessions. They're very comfy.
I bet that cured the back.
I don't know, it's a bit sore now. No, I'm back on the normal office chair. Mustn't grumble, got a ringside seat. And a great match to watch as well. Oh, that was wide open. Had all the time in the world to choose where that was going.
I remember that yesterday when he played against Paul Drinkle. 2 or 3 times he ripped that backhand down the line.
Yes, he certainly did a number on Paul Drinkle yesterday, 4-0. Funny enough, talking to Paul before the start of this session, and he was saying it could so easily be 2-2. And he's absolutely right. It's not wishful thinking. But he has been in 2 of the most entertaining games we've seen so far. Paul Drinkle did his best and took the first game
Against Timo Boll,
yep.
that was, wasn't it?
That was right. That lost 3-1. Quick towel time here in this match between HARIMOTO and KARLSSON. It's fairly comprehensive between Persson and JJ at the moment, and it was in the first session of today fairly comprehensive for Team Mays. 15-9 over Team Rossi. Going on Team Rossi getting more than 2 games. Not one of them winning. There was a draw between Pota and Feng. Not this time from KARLSSON. Got to it but couldn't guide it. That's better. It wasn't the best shot from HARIMOTO, to be fair.
Lovely technique though on the little flick out, just didn't quite move back into position for the next one.
We've seen that earlier, just a couple of shots ago, a couple of points ago, and all of a sudden you can see a way perhaps to get the better of HARIMOTO.
4-8-4.
He's done well to weather the storm, has Mattias KARLSSON, and now has comfortably moved ahead in this third game.
Players, time.
And a couple of edging ahead in this match. And there's certainly enough time for at least one more game after this, and there's possibly a second one as well.
5-9.
And that's long.
5-10.
So 5 game points from Mattias KARLSSON. And there we go, long from HARIMOTO. And he is behind in this match. Little Swedish conference between Jörgen Persson and Mattias KARLSSON. They'll be a lot happier having turned this around, losing the first game, coming back to win the next 2. So, good third game for KARLSSON, won that quite convincingly. Now then, will there be enough time? For me, that's a 15-second timeout, but that's gone over, I don't know, you tell me, 45 seconds?
HARIMOTO to serve. Love all.
I say that you keep them out there and chuck them the towel. The diminutive HARIMOTO overpowering KARLSSON there. He's done it again. Speed of shot, astonishing. Oh yes, marvellous from KARLSSON. Sat up there, could have been put away, but of course you've got to readjust.
Good opening up top spin from the young Japanese player. He needs to keep that scoreboard moving. Some wonderful power for a lad so young.
Yeah, not all 14-year-olds are so well toned and fit. Certainly Right arm has all the power it needs in it.
2-4.
Put that tongue back in, young man. Gurning at the camera. He's probably not much younger than HARIMOTO, to be fair. Got quite a few youngsters in today enjoying it. The next generation of table tennis players. It's a sport they absolutely adore
5-3.
here in Malaysia and across the border. Just we can see Singapore from here. They love it as well. Got a couple of Singaporean players as well, which is good.
6-3.
Good purchase on that half-long shot there.
KARLSSON talking to herself, inspecting the bat.
Left. 3-7.
Took the net, went long. Yeah.
8-4.
What a shot that was. Don't think half the crowd here saw it.
That's a reverse chop serve. How you can hit through that ball. So he's raced round the left-hand side of the ball so that it accelerates off the racket. Look, definitely reverse chop serve.
High.
Didn't he like it?
8-4.
Moment of serendipity for him. Oh yes.
8-5.
Now he can dish it out as well as having to take it, KARLSSON. Two storming backhands.
8-6-8.
Oh yes.
7-8.
Swerving away from the Japanese player.
Timeout. 1 minute.
And timeout has been called. I think it's for Team JJ, although to be fair, she was holding it in the right hand, the referee, which sometimes indicates which side of the playing area has called the timeout, but I'm pretty sure it's Team JJ. And catch up there, wasn't he? And once he lost his footing, it was game over. There's a sighter of our lovely new DHS high quality ball made for us exclusively here at T2. Sanai making the table as well for T2. That's a good comeback, isn't it? And as the clock ticks down, every chance we might be able to go into a kill zone game as well.
9-8.
That was a good little flick out from KARLSSON, but HARIMOTO equal to that.
Hits the net, and he tried to flick it backhand. And 2-point cushion to wrap up this and make it 2-all and take us into a kill zone. Was it 2:50? Oh, in fact, we might just have a timed game if it's not less than 2 minutes. And it's virtually a kill zone game because you don't get more than about 4 or 5 in. Oh, got himself in a tangle there, didn't he? Wasn't quite sure what he was up to.
Again, the mistake there is just deciding what you're going to do before the serve's even delivered.
That'll do it though. A luxury to have 2 game points. And you can make a complete hash of one of them and still come back. So 2 apiece. 2 minutes on the clock. They need to come back fairly sharpish. 15-second rule. I think they're still in the mindset for traditional table tennis where you sit and have a relax and a chat, and I'm going to watch the clock here. I reckon we're almost on 15 seconds. Yep, that hand goes up from the second referee, and that was pretty prompt, to be fair. That's the tail of the tape so far, and I wonder who's going to take the honours here. Someone's going to take it 3-2 and take the money as well that's on offer.
Love all.
Minute and a half. Keep an eye on the clock, boys. Oh, nice way to start. Harimoto, very aggressive.
Well, most players there are just going to spin that up slowly. Not Harry. In he comes.
He's anxious to get the ball and get going. Less than a minute on the clock. If he can get 1, possibly 2 points more, he'll be happy. Well, the reason it was so difficult for KARLSSON because it absolutely leaped to the left with the spin. Watch it here. Oh, goodness me. Like a leg spinner in cricket. 1-3. Take the ball quickly. JJ hates the camera, you know. Very shy guy. Well, Mattias, look at the clock. Don't hang around, mate. If you can make this 3-3, we'll have a sudden death. And the flies around his head. Oh, it's gone long. And that's it, surely. Time is up. 4-2. And what a comeback from Harimoto. And JJ is full of smiles. What a bit of drama at the end there. Was down, came back to level it, and then snuck that